Discipline. It's a word that often conjures images of strict routines, rigid boundaries, and unwavering self-control. But beneath its stern exterior lies a transformative power that can shape destinies, unlock potential, and forge individuals into their highest selves. The power of discipline is not merely about saying no to distractions or forcing oneself through tasks. It is about cultivating the inner strength to pursue one's goals with relentless determination, even when the path ahead is steep and uncertain. Imagine a young woman named Maya, standing on the threshold of her dreams. Her aspiration was simple yet profound: to become a writer whose words would touch hearts and stir minds. Yet, like so many who dream, Maya found herself beset by the familiar adversaries: procrastination, self-doubt, and the alluring comfort of mediocrity. Each day she promised herself she would write, and each day the blank page remained untouched, her ideas languishing in the shadows of her mind. One evening, as dusk painted her small room in muted hues, Maya sat at her desk and reflected on her journey. She realized that talent alone would not carry her forward. Inspiration was fleeting, and motivation waxed and waned like the moon. What she needed was discipline, the commitment to show up day after day, regardless of how she felt. The next morning, Maya rose before dawn. The world was quiet, the city still asleep. She made herself a cup of tea and sat at her desk. The page was still blank, but she was there, ready to write. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, hesitant at first. Then she began to type. It was not a masterpiece. Some sentences faltered, ideas tangled. But she wrote. That day, she filled a page. Day after day, Maya repeated this ritual. She wrote in the early hours, sometimes with the gentle glow of sunrise warming her room, sometimes in the bluish darkness before morning broke. There were days when words flowed like a river, and days when each sentence felt like a struggle against an invisible force. But she persisted. The discipline she imposed on herself became a quiet companion, shaping her habits and strengthening her resolve. Through discipline, Maya discovered something remarkable. She learned that showing up consistently, even when uninspired, was the key to progress. She found that discipline forged resilience, the ability to push through discomfort, to withstand the temptation of quitting, and to weather the storms of self-doubt. With each passing week, her writing improved. Her ideas grew more vibrant, her voice more confident. But discipline's power extended beyond the realm of her craft. It seeped into every corner of her life, transforming the way she approached challenges. When Maya encountered setbacks, she no longer viewed them as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities to learn and grow. She understood that failure was not a reflection of her worth, but a necessary step on the path to mastery. Maya's journey is not unique. Throughout history, discipline has been the silent architect behind countless achievements. Consider the athlete who rises before dawn to train, enduring pain and fatigue in pursuit of excellence. The scientist who spends years conducting experiments, undeterred by repeated failures. The musician who practices scales for hours, refining their technique until it becomes second nature. In every field, discipline is the force that separates those who wish from those who achieve. The power of discipline lies in its ability to bridge the gap between intention and action. Dreams and ambitions are the seeds of greatness, but without discipline, they remain dormant, unrealized. Discipline is the water, the sunlight, the nurturing hand that allows those seeds to grow into mighty oaks. But discipline is not about perfection. It is not about never faltering or always getting it right. It is about persistence, the willingness to keep going, to rise after every fall, to learn from every misstep. It is about making choices that serve your long-term goals, even when the immediate gratification of distraction beckons. For many, discipline begins with small steps. It is the decision to wake up a little earlier, to dedicate a few minutes each day to a cherished pursuit, to say no to habits that hinder growth. Over time, these small acts compound, creating a foundation of strength that supports greater ambitions. Consider the story of Thomas, a young man who dreamed of transforming his health. Years of neglect had left him feeling sluggish and unhappy. He resolved to make a change, but the prospect of overhauling his lifestyle felt overwhelming. So, Thomas started small. He committed to walking for 20 minutes each morning. It was a modest goal, but he stuck to it, rain or shine. As weeks passed, Thomas noticed subtle changes. His energy improved, his mood lifted. Encouraged by these gains, he introduced more discipline into his routine. He prepared healthier meals, cut back on unhealthy snacks, and gradually increased his exercise. Each disciplined choice built upon the last, creating momentum. A year later, Thomas had transformed not only his body, but his entire outlook on life. Discipline had taught him that change was possible, that progress was achieved not through grand gestures, but through consistent effort. His journey became a testament to the power of discipline, a force that could reshape lives, one decision at a time. Discipline also teaches us about sacrifice. To achieve something meaningful, we must often forego immediate pleasures for future rewards. The student who spends hours studying instead of socializing, the entrepreneur who works late into the night, the artist who rehearses while others rest. All have learned the art of delaying gratification, trusting that their efforts will yield fruit. Yet, discipline is not about deprivation, it is about choice. It is about aligning your actions with your values, prioritizing what truly matters. When discipline is self-imposed and rooted in a sense of purpose, it becomes a source of empowerment rather than restriction. In a world filled with distractions, the ability to focus, to channel your energy into what matters, is a rare and valuable skill. Discipline sharpens this focus. It helps you resist the siren call of instant gratification, guiding you towards your deepest aspirations. It teaches you to say no, not out of fear or guilt, but out of commitment to something greater. The power of discipline is also evident in its impact on relationships. In friendships, in families, in communities, discipline manifests as reliability, as the ability to honor commitments and show up for others. It creates trust, fosters respect, and strengthens bonds. When you are disciplined in your words and actions, you become someone others can depend on. But perhaps the greatest gift of discipline is the self-respect it engenders. Each time you follow through on a promise to yourself, each time you persist in the face of difficulty, you build confidence. You prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can shape your own destiny. Discipline transforms self-doubt into self-belief. Of course, the journey of discipline is not without its challenges. There will be days when motivation falters, when setbacks threaten to derail progress. There will be moments of temptation when the easy path beckons. In these moments, it is important to remember that discipline is not an innate trait, but a skill that can be cultivated. Strategies for strengthening discipline are varied. Setting clear goals, breaking them into manageable steps, and tracking progress can help maintain momentum. Creating routines that support your objectives, removing temptations, and seeking accountability from others are also effective. Most importantly, cultivating compassion for yourself, recognizing that imperfection is part of the process, will help you persevere. Discipline is a journey, not a destination. It is a continual process of growth, learning, and refinement. With time, what once felt arduous becomes effortless, ingrained in your daily life. The habits you build through discipline become the scaffolding upon which you construct your dreams. The power of discipline is not reserved for the extraordinary. It is accessible to all. It is the quiet force within each of us, waiting to be harnessed. When we embrace discipline, we unlock our potential, transforming ambition into achievement, adversity into opportunity. Maya's story, Thomas's journey, the countless examples throughout history, all point to one truth. Discipline is the key to greatness. It is the bridge between who you are and who you can become. It is the foundation upon which legacies are built. As you reflect on your own aspirations, consider the role discipline can play in your life. What dreams have you left unexplored? What goals have you abandoned at the first sign of difficulty? What habits could you cultivate to move closer to your vision? The answers lie within you, waiting to be uncovered through the power of disciplined action. In the end, discipline is not about rigidity or restriction. It is about freedom, the freedom to pursue your highest goals, to become the person you aspire to be, to live a life of purpose and meaning. When you harness the power of discipline, you step into your own greatness, forging a path not only for yourself, but for those who will follow in your footsteps. So, rise before dawn if you must. Write the page, take the walk, make the choice. Let discipline be your guide, your companion, your secret weapon. In its quiet, steadfast embrace, you will discover the strength to turn dreams into reality and to shape a future worthy of your potential.